taken away by Jackson Bonnie's over the line. Down to Braxton White, hit at the left side. Back to the line, Berg, a slap shot, scores! Parker Berg for the line! His second of the season and first in 39 games. The Howitzer.
Start at center, gains the Broncos line, drops it for Susdalev in the slot. Back into the middle of the ice for Svozil in front. Howe scores! Tanner Howe with his 23rd of the season. Barnett chops it off the boards and back inside the Broncos end. Left corner, set it in front, scores! Matteo Michels! His first career Western Hockey League goal. Michels has done it!
Welcome to Patscast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast, with your hosts Chris Clark and Kevin Shaw. This is episode 126 for January 22nd, 2023. All right, Kevin. A home and home with Swift Current, you know, kind of the tightest rival in the standings. We discussed this last week as not maybe a must-win, but a couple games that are almost must-wins.
A couple very key games.
Very key games. So, going to start it off with, we threw out a poll to see what everybody thought with a couple options. 58% agreed with us that the Pats were going to win both, because I think we both had them winning both, didn't we?
Yeah, I had high hopes, but
yeah,
it didn't quite work out.
It didn't happen
that well.
And then the next option, 28% had split, which came true. So then the other couple options, lose both or get 3 points versus 2. Both had 6 and 7% respectively. So most people are on board with winning 2, and I mean, obviously the way the team looked coming into that game, there was no reason not to think that they couldn't win it. I mean, it all just comes down to basically a couple minutes in the third period. They just kind of had some lapses and gave up a couple quick goals and gave up the lead. Now, at first I was thinking, it's the first game that they've given up a lead after when trailing or leading after 2, but the Berg goal was 2 minutes into the third. So you got a lead there, but yeah, they just couldn't hang on. I mean, the first period, they looked excellent in that first period. Like the shots in that first period were 18-10
for Pats.
Yeah, it was a pretty good period. What were your thoughts there?
It just felt like the wheels kind of fell off a little bit as the first period was coming to an end. It seemed like there was a few guys like seeing Stringer get injured there. It kind of had other guys playing in different roles, and there was different guys playing in different pairings on defense, and just all over the place. It just seemed like it was just a big paddock, put them in a blender, and just kind of like go out there and hope for the best.
Yeah, hope for the best, right?
And then it really showed in the second. Pats had 3 shots on goal. Like they just couldn't get anything going offensively. There was nothing there. But
yeah, and
whatever.
It is what it is. And then obviously they're going in short, not a short bench, but short forwards. They've been playing 11-7 in the last couple games, which is a little odd, right? I mean, they have healthy scratched forwards sitting there, but they decided to go 11-7, and then you lose Stringer early in the first, and then you lose Queering. I think it was in the second period. I believe maybe it was the third. I can't remember exactly, but he went out as well. So now you're down to 9 forwards, and you lost 2 top 6 forwards, right? You mean
Janelle?
Sorry.
Janelle, not Queering.
Queering, yeah. Got the new guys mixed up. Yeah, Janelle, sorry. And so you lose 2 top 6 forwards, right? And I mean, you look at the line combinations. We teased it last show and we forgot to go back to it, but you got Janelle with Bedard.
Playing with Bedard and
Susdalev, right? So you're thinking with Stringer, Howe, and Vallis on the second line, you're thinking that line is going to be the top line next year. So you're thinking that they're maybe trying to get some chemistry going.
Kind of stuff going on.
Yeah, right. So then you lose a guy off both of those lines, and it's just like, I think that like you said,
both left wingers.
The
left winger guys that stand in front of the net on the power plays, like the screenshot guys. It's like, both of them.
Yeah, right. And I mean, so that just that, like you said, it contributes to the wheels kind of, getting wobbly and starting to fall off, right? And then it was the penalty situations. Like they took a lot of penalties. Like they took 6 penalties. I mean, or they were shorthanded 6 times. I mean, there was other penalties as well. And then the Pats only had 2 power plays. And
it seemed like both coaches weren't happy with the officiating.
I think so. And I mean, there was
some blatant trips, some blatant stuff going both ways.
Yeah.
And
it was just,
I think both coaches probably were not happy.
Yeah. I mean, there was a blatant trip by
very consistent.
One of the Pats players. I can't even remember. And then as soon as the Pats touched the puck, all the skaters stopped skating. Like everybody knew it was a penalty. And then the whistle didn't go. And they're like, everybody's looking around and they just kept playing. Then they started playing again. Like they're like, okay, I guess that wasn't a trip. Like
I think Dante even said, I think there's going to be a penalty. And like, I was like, I swear the referee's arm went up. I'm sure he said that somehow.
Yeah, he did. He did say that, right? And I think, I mean, I don't know. You can't see it on the TV or not, but I think maybe if he saw it or not, or he just assumed he saw it, right? Because it was so blatant. Like it was just, And then the Swift Current coach, Devin Prott, I think his name is, he had quite a discussion there. Like they showed the camera was on him for quite a while, and he wasn't getting angry. Like he wasn't, didn't seem he was too demonstrative or anything, but he was having quite a discussion, and he kept it, I think, pretty civil by the looks of it, right? So good for him for keeping us cool there. But yeah, and then talked to Sim after the Saturday night game, and he was like, yeah, I kind of wanted 1, maybe 2 of those goals back. So he was like, yeah, that I think he was taking a little bit of the blame for that loss. I mean, it's not on him, but not to transition to the next game yet, but he stepped up his game obviously on Saturday night. But then I mean, that was a tough one. You see a guy like Drew Englert scores the game winner, comes back to haunt his old team.
His first goal as a Bronco.
Yeah, right. So it is what it is. I mean, so Kurt paid a pretty hefty price, as we were talking about, for him. So he's coming through there. Yeah. What else do you got on that game? What do you have to say?
Not much. It sucks to have 2 guys out with injuries, but now the other guys, as we see the next game, will step in and step up. So hopefully it carries over. Hopefully Stringer's not hurt too bad. It sounds like it's not that serious. It could have been serious, but it's not that serious.
Yeah, it sounds
Janelle,
like
who they're not 100% sure on, I don't think.
Yeah, sounds like Stringer could be back during the road trip, so that's good. And then Janelle sounds like it could be around a month, but that's just early diagnosis, so it could always change, worse or better yet. So that's unfortunate. You lose, like you said, 2 top 6 forwards. But going into the game, then into Saturday night's game, Michels and Barnett step back in, and Michels played quite a bit of time. He played quite a bit of penalty kill. He said after the game that he and John had discussions, and that's maybe a role that he needs to work on, or he's going to get an opportunity, so he's got to work on that. And then I think right off the bat here, it's the last goal of the game, but he finally gets his first goal. Like 76 games into his career, it was finally so good to see him score.
I honestly think that was the loudest I've cheered at a Pats game in a long time.
Yeah, definitely, especially when you're sitting in the press box,
so
right?
For him.
But
try to keep it quiet or whatever. But I cheer for him. I'm so happy he scored.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to my neighbor today, and he was just hooting and hollering, and people were like looking at him because it's a 5-2 game, but obviously he follows the team pretty closely. He knows the situation, and then his son was like, "That's his first goal, right?" And then he's like, "Yeah, it sure is, right?" Like, so he was pretty pumped up too, and obviously after the game, talking to him, he was pretty excited. And I mean, you look at the reaction from Barnett, just a huge bear hug, jumped on him, and how they didn't go down to the ice.
Thought he was gonna take him out.
Yeah, same, right. But that was a great pass by Barnett. Like 2 guys were on him, and he feeds it out. And Michels, it's one of those plays where you don't even have to think. You don't have the time to think. It's just on your stick, and he just one touched it into the net, right? Like it's.
So I'm so glad he hit the net. I'm so glad he got it in the net because he even thought he missed.
Yeah, he did say.
He didn't think it went in.
We'll throw in a bunch of comments from him after this, and he's like, at first I thought maybe I missed the net, and then all of a sudden it just went crazy. So he's having some nightmares.
Blacked out.
Yeah, he said he's not had some nightmares, but he's like, I've missed some open nets, and it's weighed on him, and it's tough when you go that long being a skill guy, a forward too, of not scoring in that length of period of time. But I guess not to discount any of the other game. So you go into the game with the jerseys. I mean, some pretty cool looking jerseys. SpongeBob. I mean, I thought they looked all right. Not as good as, I don't know if we've touched on the show yet, but PA's had the nicest ones, I think we've thought, and then and Winnipeg's is a close second.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, so PA had full turtle jersey, which I thought was really good.
Full Ninja Turtles, yeah. It was very cool. And Winnipeg's they were SpongeBob. Their whole upper body was SpongeBob, and their socks were even the SpongeBob legs.
Yeah. Yeah, they looked pretty good. They did a good job there. So, but yeah, coming in, the Pats needed this game in regulation. By our thoughts, winning in regulation would give the Pats the tiebreaker. I mean, it's going to be a tight race for these last couple playoff spots. Surf Current's been really coming on, and you need this game. You can't give them a point, because then who knows what the tiebreaker is, or if you not give them the win, but if the Pats lose this, it's definitely they don't have the tiebreaker. So, so the Pats come out with a win there. I mean, you get a really solid game from Sim. It's kind of funny. You'll hear it in the comments too. Paddock was like, I don't know who picks the 3 stars, but Sim should have been in there. So, I mean,
he makes some highlight reel saves almost every game, at least 1 or 2.
Yeah, and he made
that
3.
Could be like almost the save of the night.
Yeah, he made
3. It was
3 or more last night.
And the save of the game on the video board wasn't even a good save.
It
was
wasn't
a good save, but it wasn't one of his spectacular kick save, cross ice, throw the leg out. Just stop McNutt, a defenseman on a breakaway.
It was the one on Brady Burney.
Hey, a save's a save.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a breakaway, still a good opportunity. Yeah, McNutt is not a goal scorer per se, but I mean, it's still a good save. But yeah, he made it was Burney on the one, and I think maybe Philmont on the other one. Both backdoor, full post to post save, pad save, right? So, yeah, and he had quite a bit to say. We'll throw in some comments from him as well after this, and he's a really good interview. So yeah, obviously he's an older guy, and he's like, yeah, I needed to come back after the saying a couple of those goals were on him on Friday night. So, but he stepped up in a big way, because it was 3-1. I think he made the one big save, and maybe 2-1 was the other one. I can't remember exactly, but.
Yeah, they were they're fairly early, yeah.
They're critical saves. Not only a big save, but it was a critical point in the game.
Oh yeah. Could have turned the game right around.
Right, yeah. The biggest stat that jumps out to me in this game is the face-offs. They actually finally dominated in the face-off circle for once. 38 wins, 24 losses. We've been kind of harping on that, but I mean, look what happens when you win the face-offs.
Bedard went 19 for 27.
Yeah.
Bedard went 19 for 27. Like, wow.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. That's unheard of numbers.
Yeah, he's been right about that 50% mark, and then a couple games he's been down.
51-ish, yeah.
Yeah. But it's the other guys that need to step up too. You see, everybody was pretty much 50%, like Whitehead, 10 for 17. There you go. And then, I mean, him and Bedard took the most face-offs, and then it was just Steele Queering took 6.
44 of the face-offs.
Yeah, right. Rowan 4 for 6, and then Howe 1 for 2, and Arembo 1 for 4. So Yeah, that's good there. I mean, obviously Bedard's getting a little double shifting. A couple of those other centers got, I think, a couple extra shifts too with that fourth line. So it's nice to see that fourth line get some time and contribute as well.
Bedard.
Yeah,
Streaking,
moving on to him.
Still streaking.
I mean, another 2 points.
Three goals on the weekend.
On the weekend, yeah, total. Suzdalev, 3 points on Saturday. He's 5 games in a row. He had.
But Bedard, an 8-game goal scoring streak, which is starting to get closer to the Pats record of 15.
15, right?
And he's at 32 games for points. The Pats record's 47, so
you kind of start talking about that a little bit, right? It's getting there.
It's getting there. He seems to find a will to score. I'm sure he'll pick up points. I don't know, unless he gets ejected or something early in the game.
Right. So
I don't know.
I'm putting you on the spot here.
Might be broken.
The record is 47 for point streak. How many are close to that? Is there a bunch close to 47? Do you even know that offhand?
I don't know that offhand. No.
Okay, so
no, there's quite a few guys in the high to mid 20s. I think there's a couple in the low 30s, but
not much between that and 40. Yeah, no, I know.
No, not too much. Those guys really rocked it. 81, 82, Jock Callender and Wally Schreiber.
Yeah, as a high scoring team. Yeah, so the attendance, first sellout, it was over a sellout. 64.99, 15 extra people they crammed in. So
that's amazing.
It's good to see.
People complaining about the ticket prices. And what happens? They still show up.
Yeah. Right. So, and I mean,
I don't know what'll happen post. Bedard with the Bedard bump, but
yeah. Well, I think we kind of know where that's going.
That's next year territory.
Yeah, exactly.
That's next year territory.
So
they might have to adjust and
adjust accordingly. So not only people going to the games now paying that, all the jerseys from Saturday night were sold at a minimum $500. There was a buy it now for most of the jerseys, other than the high end guys.
If for 19 of the jerseys were buy now for $500, and all went.
They all went for $500 like that. That's kind of impressive. Because I mean, you think back, especially jerseys the last couple of years, even before COVID, jerseys weren't going those weren't going for $500.
No.
So that's and then obviously Bedard, 13,000. I mean, that's not too surprising. That takes us to our other poll that we put out. And I said to you, over under $7,500. And you're like, no, you better put a $10,000 option there. And 54% voted over $10,000. I was thinking I put a vote in for 75 to 10, which garnered 38% of the votes. So I was wrong, but you made the right call there. And then you were like, as soon as it hit 10, you're like, okay, do we do a 12, 15, 17, maybe 20? That would have been crazy if it got to 20, but it sat at that 13,000 for quite a while.
Yeah, it seemed to get capped, and that was kind of where it stopped.
Yeah, there was
they were smart. They were smart not putting the buy now on Svozo, Valis, Sim, Howe, and Suzdalev. Those guys, everybody's $1,000 except for Sim was $975. This money goes to the Children's Miracle Network, or
that's the thing. It is a charity, right? Yeah. So it's going to to the Children's Hospital in Saskatoon. So
yeah.
But yeah, you look at Tau, 2,000
children's stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a charity. People are willing to fork out for that kind of stuff.
$1,500 for Valis, $1,325 for Svozil, $1,200 for Suzdalev. That's some pretty good money for charity.
Yeah, for SpongeBob jersey. I think they're cool, but I don't think I'd ever pay $500 for one. That's for sure. So.
Nah, me neither. They're very, like I said, they're neat. They're very neat, but no, $500 is a little bit too rich for my blood for a one-off.
Yeah, exactly. Right. All right, what else have we got from that game? Anything else?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything there.
Yeah. So then, yeah, okay, we'll throw it to the interviews. We got John, Drew Sim, and Matteo Michels.
I thought we actually played all. Sitting back, I actually thought we played all right last night. Like better than I probably thought. During the game, we really had a good first period. We're like they couldn't keep up, and in the second period, let's give them some credit. There's ebb and flows in games, and they're a pretty good hockey team, and so things changed. But from late in the second period through the third, we still had a 2-1 lead with 7 minutes left. We should be able to be shut down, but we took penalties and we had some turnovers at the blue line that didn't result in goals, but they switched the momentum, just give them more momentum.
How important was this win, John?
Well, it was super important. Absolutely. And with losing Strings and Jenner, our lineup is, we needed guys to come through. And they did, Matteo and Barney. And really, I think Drew was the best player on the ice. I don't know who was picking the stars, but I mean, the saves he made on the power play in the third period, he made some great saves. So, he was outstanding, and you need goaltending at any time. But again, with the lineup taking a little bit of a beating, the goalie has to be great. And he was great.
You look at the timing too. You're up 3-1 and he makes 2 great saves. You're up 4-2 and he keeps it a multi-goal game with another beauty.
For sure, Connor was good stuff. But like Drew was the one who made sure there was a difference in the game.
How pleased were you to see Matteo finally?
Great for him. Coming from where he came from, there's been lots of adjustments to playing and stuff, and he put the time in the summertime to get stronger, and it didn't really seem to, come out in his game a whole lot. And we had some conversations around deadline day about, what he was wanting to do, and he wanted to be here, and it's a big goal for us, and hopefully he can keep chipping in and at different times and different aspects of the game. I mean, he was on the penalty kill for at least a couple of minutes tonight. So again, we need those kind of efforts because of the bodies out of the lineup.
The Medicine Hat team that's really come on strong here lately. What do you expect next weekend?
It'll be a fast game. We haven't seen them this year, but I know all these teams play fast. They're not always, I don't know what size they have, but they're not always a big team, but they play fast. And they play the same all the time, all the years he's been there. They'll compete and skate, and I think they're a little bit younger than even Portland, but it'll be something like the Portland game. There's Portland style, whether that results in the same kind of game, I don't know. But it'll be fast.
How sweet was that victory tonight, rebounding as the team did?
Yeah, that one feels really good. Obviously, not what we wanted out of yesterday, especially being up 1 goal with 7 minutes left. Honestly, that's a little out of character for us to break down like that. In the last half of the game, we've been really good and really mature with our game. Pretty much all year. It looks like a completely different team. I've said that before. But just last night, disappointing for sure. And to come out and bounce back like this does nothing but good for us.
How pleased were you with your own performance? A lot of close calls on the doorstep today.
Yeah, that's my job. And obviously not really happy with 1, maybe 2 last night. I think it was 2 and 3. I don't think I really was a fan of. And obviously that ended up costing us the game. So to come out, and I knew I kind of needed to answer, and I kind of know what to expect of these guys now. So, yeah.
Is your confidence at an all-time high right now?
Yes and no. I think probably in BC was kind of a peak, and then obviously a little bit of a struggle there once we got back. So it was just constantly every day working to get back to where it was and how I was playing there, and to finally have it coming around. I don't think there's a better time for it to be coming around than right now.
How big is those 5 days off that allow you to play back-to-back like you have this last 2 weekends?
It's huge. the load's kind of been put on me this year, and that's exactly what I wanted and exactly what I trained for this summer. So once I got the job, I kind of expected I was going to get the load, and part of that and part of maturing and growing as a hockey player is learning to play in those back-to-backs with travel and all that. And I'm actually very happy with myself and how.
When you see what Connor is doing, are you somewhat relieved that you don't have to play against him except in practice?
Yeah. I see it every day. The stuff, like all the stuff you see him doing in games, he does it to our own D-men, and normally scores in practice. So just the way he the way he practices, everything translates to games, and he's always. I say it all the time. I don't think I've ever seen anyone love the game more than him. Probably shouldn't say this, but there's always a teacher looking for him when we show up in the morning, because he's either taping a stick or out shooting pucks. Just loves the game, so I'm glad it's working out for him.
How much does it help your game to be able to play against him in practice?
100%. We got the best 17-year-old in the world, and lucky for us, we get to see him every day. So it does nothing but help everyone. You got to defend him, and you can't not try and practice, or he's going to make you look silly, right? So it has done nothing but help for me. Just his release, his shot, his moves. Nathan actually released a video last week of the goalies getting embarrassed by him in a shootout. So it's insane.
Do you still see something new in practice from time to time? Is he emptied the bag, or are there still some things this far into the season where you think, I've never seen him do that before?
I don't think so. I think he's pretty much emptied his bag of tricks so far, but he's always trying something new. The World Junior breakaway move that he broke out a couple of times here so far that goes in, I've actually told him, like, if you keep doing that, you will score every time, just because the goalie has to respect that backhand shell, and that's going to open you up. So if you get that down and through his legs quick enough, you're going to score every time, and he loves it. So
how sweet was that?
Felt like a dream.
Yeah.
It didn't feel real. Not like I blacked out. Like it did not feel real at all. I was like, I got back to the bench. I'm like, what just happened? Yeah.
Well, we were in the press box. We could hear you as you skated toward the bench.
Oh yeah.
You were loud.
Even like I was. Yeah. Even this is my teammates, especially like going through that. They've all been waiting for this, but like. I went through that, and it was just a tsunami of water just sprayed in my face. Like it was insane. Like I was like, what just happened? It was crazy.
What's going through your mind? Like the puck's on your stick, and then it's in the net. There's not a lot of time to.
There was not a lot of. I thought I missed the net.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't think it went in, and then I turned around, and Braden's like, "Oh, they're about to tackle me." So yeah.
Were you getting down at any point? Were you frustrated? Like how low did you get?
100%. I like I said last time, I have so many videos of myself missing wide open nets and stuff like that. But yeah, like it definitely you do get down. But like I've been told many times that once you get your first one, they just start coming in. So
how were you able to battle through that kind of those low points?
Just working with mental coaches. I have one mental coach that I work with. It's actually the same one that Cole Dubinsky used to work with, so I think he's talked to him about him a couple times, but that's who I've worked with mostly, so trying to stay up and stuff like that.
John mentioned that around the time of the trade deadline that you and him had a long chat. Like, were you wondering like where all this is going? Were you sort of at a crossroads there for a bit?
I guess a little bit. Like, I guess he kind of saw like our team was very deep at the time. He wanted to give me some opportunities, so we were talking a little bit there, but then we kind of just talked a little bit. He talked about my role on the team and things that he wanted to see me work on. So I kind of took that to heart, and now we kind of have a better relationship after that, and that's kind of how I took it into this game.
The thing is, too, it's not like it's a garbage goal. I mean, it's to score your first one, to have it be that kind of goal. How much better does that make it?
Braden, I didn't expect him to pass that. Like I was kind of shocked by it, but what a play he made! Like he drew two guys to him, didn't even look at me, and just threw it right to my stick. It was a perfect pass by Braden. So.
Yeah, tonight you seemed like you got a lot more ice time. Obviously, there's some injuries, but can you take that going forward now?
100%. Like me and John have been talking about like PK, and he said he's like me on the PK, so I got to use it on the PK a lot today. And so I think just capitalizing on trying to get John's trust. So that's what I think I'd 100%.
All right. Yeah, that was actually one thing I want to touch on after listening to that is John said he sat down with Matteo and they kind of had a discussion at the trade deadline. Obviously, he obviously hasn't been playing a ton and like you heard John say that he wants to be here. So that's good. That's good to hear. He's going to not tough it out, but he's committed to this team and he wants to be here and obviously he's like he said, there's maybe a little bit of a new role, playing some PK time, and he's hopefully going to make the best of that. All right, so heading on to other things. What else we got? I guess we can talk about the new goal song. Like they changed it mid-season here, right around Christmas. I mean, okay, they had an older. Oh, I guess it had an older song,
a remake
of an older
song.
Yeah, it's like okay, well they could
come together by Gary Clark Jr.
Yeah. And then I don't know who does that new version, the remix or whatever. But thinking, I could use a maybe updated song or something newer. Obviously young people go to these games and the players are young and it's like okay, they changed the song and they went back in time to the 60s. I don't know. I don't know who makes those decisions, but
I was walking through the Zamboni area, the game. They actually switched the song, and I thought, well, it was just they're preparing for the game or whatever, just messing with the sound. I heard it, I'm like, okay, whatever. And then you pointed it out a couple goals in. I'm like, what?
I know, like,
oh well.
I don't know. It's nothing serious.
It doesn't seem like a real pump up song. Like
right.
Like the World Juniors in Halifax and stuff. They had that. It was like
local band
or whatever it's called. Yeah, the local band, but everybody got up and they started clapping and singing along and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Twist and Shout by the Beatles was before my time, before your time. But
yeah, right. And we pointed out, I don't know what city it was in, but the old song "Come Together," it was the
Red Deer.
Red Deer. Okay, it was Red Deer. It's their away goal song. Like it's like the crappy song that they put on when the other team scores, the away team. Well, that's
to rally the troops to get back.
Like that's interesting. But yeah, I mean it's nothing. It's nothing. It's here nor there. It's just kind of funny that they went 60s right for this song. That 3/4 of the crowd has no idea. I guess it's the Beatles, but I mean you've probably heard it. But they could use a better song, I think. Right? I think we're.
Oh, whatever. Hey.
Yeah, it is what it is.
A little nitpicky, but hey.
Yeah.
You think of a goal song as being something
pumped
up and bumping. Some teams even have a goal song for every player. So
I think that's kind of cool. I think Edmonton does it. That's neat. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Kind of like baseball, right?
Something totally different. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Your own little walk-up song or your own goal song.
Yeah, exactly, right. So a couple other things, teams around the Pats we talked about, so current right around them. Medicine Hat, they've kind of been coming on. They're 5-3-2 in their last 10. The Hitmen, they won today over Red Deer. Unfortunately, could have used a loss there for Calgary because they're 4 points up on the Pats with only one game in hand. So if they would have lost today, it would have been only 2 points up with one game in hand. And then these are teams that the Pats are playing here right away. Like they're playing Medicine Hat twice in the next week, or I guess, in the next 2 weeks since the next game isn't for another week here. And then they played Red Deer and Calgary as well. But yeah, Medicine Hat, they're sneaky. They're coming up. Like they unfortunately lost today to Swift Current in overtime. It would have been nice for them to pull it out in regulation. They were up, weren't they, late in that game, you said?
Yeah. There's only 10 points between Lethbridge in 5th and Medicine Hat in 10th. There's only 10 points difference.
Yeah.
So.
And the games are getting pretty.
Medicine Hat has played a couple more games than the Pats, and so they're.
Yeah, they're the kind
of. Got
to
play catch up. So.
Yeah. But the games now are pretty close. Like Swift Current's played the least at 42, and Medicine Hat has played the most at 46. So. It's it's not, not too out of whack. Winnipeg's really the outlier at 39. They've played the least in the whole league, but they're still in first overall, even with the 39 games played.
That's wild.
Yeah. Red Deer actually passed them last night, Saturday night, because they have more points, but obviously they've played 5 more games. And then Winnipeg won today against Moose Jaw. They whooped Moose Jaw today. What was it? 6-0. They played
6-0, yeah.
They played twice. Moose Jaw played twice there, and they lost both. I think Saturday night was in overtime, was it not?
I think so, yeah. Winnipeg's 7-0 and 1 in their last 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Meh.
Yeah, they're rolling, right? Obviously they're up there. Kind of the team on the skids right now is Saskatoon, 3-4-2-1. They've kind of coming back to the pack. Moose Jaw's right behind them now, but Saskatoon does have 4 games in hand. But yeah, like you said, the Pats, playing the teams right around them, right? They play Medicine Hat twice. They play Calgary, and then they got the game with Red Deer. And you heard
every game's a 4-point game. It's
right?
It's
yeah,
wild. They gotta win. That's
definitely
the only way they can make ground is they gotta win. Don't worry about anything around them, but win.
Exactly. Don't leave it.
And hopefully they'll seal their own fate.
Yeah, don't leave it up to somebody else like what happened last year, right?
Yeah.
They know full well what happens when you don't get a couple critical wins and you're on the outside by a point, right? Anything else? What else you got?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, I guess we're
good for that.
We see Medicine Hat. John touched on what kind of game they're playing there. You heard from him. And I mean, Medicine Hat's been a fast-paced kind of speed team for quite a while. We
haven't seen them this year, though, so we can't really even say what the compared here because we haven't played them yet. We haven't played them. We're done with Swift Current for the rest of the season.
I know, right? Like, that's kind of odd. But John did say it'd be similar to a Portland-style game. So, and I mean, Willie Desjardins, he it's kind of his style. He likes that speedy, smaller forward type deal. And so they're expecting a type of game like that.
I guess we'll see. They're like we've said, they're kind of coming along. They're sneakily creeping up the standings, but time might not be on their side because of the games they played. They played quite a few more games than like Swift Current. Only a couple more than the Pats, but Swift Current will be they'll be the nemesis.
Yeah, it'll be see. I mean, there's still lots of games to play. There's still 20 games to play. Yeah. Somebody gets hot. Somebody, hits the skids here for a few games. You never know, right? I guess one thing before the the Medicine Hat game coming up on Sunday is Wednesday night, the Top Prospects game in Vancouver. That'll be lots of eyeballs will be on that game. Obviously, Bedard back at home playing. I guess for the Scouts, there's some good talent, especially out of the WHL. Like we were talking about it. If you look at the stats, the top, the top 4 now are all 17 and draft eligible. That's the points overall, top 4. So you got Bedard at 81, Benson at 65, Crystal at 62, and Cohen Zimmer at 62 as well. So those top 4 skaters are all 17. That's kind of crazy.
Yes, it is. It's unbelievable to have 17-year-olds not dominate, but be the top of the scoring race.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's ever happened before. It's unbelievable. And Riley Height is in 7th place.
Yeah,
he's like right up there. So it's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, Stankoven, if he played all the games or most of the games, obviously he missed juniors, but he did miss a few at the start of the season. He was still with Dallas Stars. He'd be there. He's got 61. He's in 5th, 61 points in only 27 games. Like I think he's got a 27 game point streak. I believe he's scored in every game this year. So that it's a guy to watch. He's going to be carrying that Kamloops team. I mean, they're getting more reinforcements obviously coming in, like we discussed about the trades, but I mean, he led the league last year in scoring, right? As an 18. So he's a guy to watch. Big point streak as well. Like, he's 27 games. Bedard's at 32 games. They'll be going for a while, I think.
Arshdeep Baines led the league in scoring last year.
Did he? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was right.
Stankoven was third. It was
There's
Arshdeep Baines,
and Ben King,
and then Stankoven.
Right. He won Player of the Year, though. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Thanks for.
Bedard had 100 points. He was fourth.
Yeah, that's right. He won He won CHL Player of the Year, actually. Did he not? Stankoven.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he won it all. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's what channel is that? Is that on TSN? Is their cover it, obviously?
Yeah, that's what it looks like, I believe. Yeah, TSN. It says TSN, TSN.ca, and the TSN app, and RDS. January 25th at 7 p.m. at the Langley Event Center.
So that's 9 p.m. here, local, right? That's 7 p.m. local there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. They usually say in
19,
Eastern.
19 players in the prospects game are from the Western Hockey League.
So almost half.
Yeah, almost half, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Right, yeah. And I think Bedard talked about it.
And four of the goalies are from the Western League.
How many goalies total are there?
Or three of the four goalies, right?
Three out of the four. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, Bjarnason, Jackson Unger, and Radslav are three of the four goalies.
Yeah. So, yeah. Bedard talked about playing with Andrew Crystal. He's like, they're so pumped, it sounds like, because they've been friends for a long time. And he said even Zach Benson, he played quite a bit with Zach Benson as well. So he's pretty pumped to be able to play with him again. So it'll be interesting. It should be a good game. Like,
they'll probably play on a line.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, for sure.
Because
right.
They're on the same team, so they'll probably play on a line.
Yeah, right. And I mean, it's going to be Vancouver. I think obviously it's sold out, and I think it should be a pretty good environment for a quote unquote kind of like not an all-star game, but a showcase event, right? So it'll be interesting to see. But I guess with that, if you've got nothing else, I don't think I have anything else. I think we covered everything. Last week's show was a bit of all over the place. That was my fault. I didn't keep it on the rails last week, but we're a little more structured this week.
And looking ahead at the games upcoming, we'll talk about the future traveling Bedards with the attendances and stuff like that.
Right.
We'll talk about that down the road.
Yeah, the attendance is getting kind of wild.
It's getting pretty interesting on a couple of the other markets. Well, pretty much every market the Pats are playing in. It's interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what Calgary. We'll discuss what the Calgary attendance is going to be. Next weekend. It gets a little closer to that one, but it's going to be big.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Actually, there's one more thing.
Bedard factor.
So if anybody has not watched the Road to Nashville documentary thing, we'll discuss that one next week. It's kind of hard to find. It's not easy to find on the CHL TV. On Fire Stick, you can't find it on Fire Stick. It's in the app. It wasn't easy to find in the app, unfortunately. And then you said it was easy to find on the website?
Yeah, on the watch.chl. Whatever it is.
Yeah,
whatever the webpage is.
The website.
On the watch webpage.
So we'll discuss that one next week, because next week's going to only be one game. So we'll have something to talk about there. So it's only 24 minutes long. And the Prospects game,
the Prospects game, so.
We won't have interviews because I will not be at that game. So unfortunately, I will not be making that game. So we won't have any interviews. Maybe I can grab some off the site if they put them up quick enough. But I guess we'll have lots to talk about the week ahead, because it's a busy week, the week after they play Medicine Hat here.
For those of you listening, watch out for some polls. I'm sure there'll be some polls this week.
Yeah, we'll throw some talking points.
Tuned.
Yeah, try to get some engagement. Just throw some fun stuff out there. Spice it up.
Because it's only one Pats game, so gotta have something to talk about. We're not gonna just ramble on about a game.
Well, we have rambled on here, so even with 2 games,
though,
yeah, it is.
Well, it's 2 games, and Michael's first goal, which is great.
Yeah,
I complain about the goal song a little bit. yell at the clouds or tell people to get off our lawn.
Yeah. And piss on the 3-star selectors. Nathan. he prefaced it, or he said after, he's like, it's not just me, it's a group effort. So but anyways, it was kind of funny. Just John just like, I don't know.
At least the Stars aren't homers like some other places where a team can lose and still have two of the game stars. Yes. Yeah, good old Moose Jaw. Yeah. Anyways, well, let's wrap this up here. And I see some of you guys at the rink. It won't be me, but should be another good one. Hopefully another sellout and a team we haven't seen in a while, so it'll be good. So, all right, have a good night, folks. Take care.